Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So the flow through porous media can be explained by Darcy law. Okay, so Darcy's law nothing but a momentum equation. So here the inertial forces they are balanced by frictional forces. Okay, so this equation Q is equal minus Ka delta H by L. Uh, so this is Darcy law. So where K stands for hydraulic conductivity. So hydraulic conductivity is the property of the soil. Okay, so using this property, soil permits the water flow through it. So if hydraulic conductivity is high, that means the flow rate will be high. Okay, that means the ability to pass the water through its force is high, and delta H by L. So this is nothing but uh, hydraulic gradient, and air is the area through which water is flowing through. So we can write, we can simplify this delta H by L as minus KH down minus H up by L. Okay. So because whenever we take the gradient, we always when we take the slope, so we will take the uh, elevation of the end point minus elevation of the uh, initial point divided by the distance between them. Okay, so H down means it is a downstream point, H up means it is upstream point. So this is the gradient of head between downstream and upstream, and L is the distance between the 2 points. So this Q is given as minus K A delta H by L, because this minus represents in the flow direction it is decreasing. Okay, so therefore to take care of that, the minus is applied here. So Q, that is nothing but capital Q by A. This is nothing but flux. So flux is some either volumetric flow rate or mass flow rate. If it is going through a unit area perpendicular to it, it is called as flux. So because uh, because ultimately we are going to discuss infiltration. So infiltration is the downward flow. Okay, so this downward direction, that is vertical direction, it is represented with z, coordinate z. So therefore q is substituted with z. So qz is equal minus k dou h by dou z. So the energy, I mean, when we apply conservation of energy to a streamline in steady state flow, the total energy per unit weight of water is represented as P by gamma plus Z plus V square by 2G. So in these three quantities, V square by 2 is velocity head, or kinetic energy, P by gamma is pressure energy, and Z is elevation energy or potential energy. So when, because in the groundwater flow, the velocity is very small, so kinetic energy is neglected. So V square by 2G goes to 0. P by gamma is a pressure head or pressure per unit weight of water. So that is represented with psi. So psi is nothing, it is also called as suction head. So what is suction head? So this soil which has void spaces. So inside the void spaces, water, there is a water and air, and this water, because of the strong adhesive forces between the soil particles and water, water sticks to the soil surface, okay, with some pressure. It's called as a tension. So that pressure is represented by, that pressure is called as suction head or tension, which is represented by psi. So psi is always in partially saturated soil is always negative. So the psi is also in soil mechanics. It is termed as pore pressure. So if soil is unsaturated, then pore pressure is negative. So we can write there are two locations. So one location is at depth Z1, and another point that is at depth Z2. The total head at Z1 depth, so that is equal H1 is equal psi1 plus Z1. So total head at point 1 is equal psi1 plus Z1. The psi1 represents the suction pressure, and Z1 represents the gravitational pressure or gravity head, elevation head. So H1 is equal psi1 plus Z1 and H2 is equal psi2 plus Z2. So the flow, it is taking from Z1 to Z2. Okay. So flow is, it depends, because in the rainy season the flow takes from point 1 to point 2, but whereas dry season flow takes from Z2 to Z1. So, and in the partially saturated flow, the pressure at point 1 is higher than pressure at point 2. So therefore, the gradient it is represented by H1 minus H2 by Z1 minus Z2. So the flow rate taking place from points, flow rate between point 1 and 2 is represented by minus K H1 minus H2 by Z1 minus Z2. So this is a figure which represents the relation between suction head and soil moisture content. Okay, so this figure is for unsaturated soil. So you can see in this figure soil suction head that is decreasing with soil moisture content. So as soil moisture content increasing, suction head is decreasing. Why? Because pores are filled with water. So in the partially saturated, they are partly filled. So therefore, the adhesive forces between the soil and the water particles is very high. So therefore, suppose the soil moisture content is less, then the water strongly stick to the soil particles. So therefore, the suction head is very high for lesser soil moisture content. So as soil moisture content increases, because when the soil moisture content increases, there is adhesive forces. Apart from adhesive forces, cohesive forces also comes into picture. That is cohesive forces between water molecules. So as the soil moisture content increases, so the cohesion forces will be increasing as soil moisture content increases, and that balances suction pressure. So therefore, suction pressure decreases as soil moisture content increases. And hydraulic conductivity, that is ability of the soil to permit the water to pass through it, that is also function of soil moisture content. So as soil moisture content increases, hydraulic conductivity increases. Why? Because as moisture content increases, cozy forces between water molecules increase. Therefore, the flowability will be higher. So the water flows easily as soil moisture content increases. This figure, because I want to show how this suction head uh, changes for different types of soils with respect to water content. So in the first figure, sandy soil and clay soil is shown. Okay. Here in the previous figure, if you look at this figure, pressure is increasing in the upward direction, but here the pressure is increasing in the downward direction. So therefore, the shape is opposite to the previous figure. So in this figure, you see that as the water content increases, suction pressure decreases. Okay. So and in between sandy soil and clay soil, the suction head is very high for clay soil. Why? Because the pore size in clay soil is very small. So when the pore size is small, the water is strongly pulled by the soil particles. So if you see for a given water content, let's say zero point 0.3. So for water content 0.3 in clay soil, suction head is 10,000 meters. But whereas in sandy soil, it is only 1 meter. And you can see as the suction, as the water content increases, pressure head decreases. Okay, you see, suppose that for clay soil at 0.3, it is 10,000 meters, whereas at zero point 0.4, the pressure is around 100. And next, another figure. This figure shows hydraulic conductivity K versus suction head. So you can see that when the suction head is small, hydraulic conductivity is higher. Okay. So when the suction head is small, that means moisture content is high. So when the moisture content is high, hydraulic conductivity is higher, and the hydraulic conductivity is higher for sandy soil as compared to clay soil. But if you see that as the pressure head increases, that means suction head is high, the hydraulic conductivity of sandy soil is smaller than clay soil. Okay, why? Because in this region, in this region, flow is taking place due to the gravity. Okay, but in this area, flow is taking place due to the capillary action. That means water is rising against the gravity. So let's derive Richard's equation. Richard's equation which governs the water flow in unsaturated soil. Okay, or we can say that it governs water flow in partially saturated porous media. So, Richard's equation, it is a kind of continuity equation. So we can derive this from Darcy law. So Darcy law, Qz is equal minus K into dou H by dou Z, where H is the total pressure. So that is represented by suction pressure plus gravity head. So that is H is equal psi plus Z. When we substitute this H in this Darcy law, we can write flux in the downward direction, that is equal to minus K dou of psi plus Z by dou Z. But when we expand this, equation becomes downward flux is equal to minus k dou psi by dou z minus k. Okay, because dou z by dou z is equal to 1. And when we take minus out, so this is the term, and psi, because in the previous plots the suction head is function of water content, okay, and water content is function of the depth of the depth of the point of interest. So we can write dou psi by dou z, we can separate it as dou psi by dou theta into dou theta by dou z, okay, because psi is function of theta, whereas theta is function of the its depth from the surface. So we can write the downward water flux, that is equal to minus k into d psi by d theta by dz plus k, and this k into d psi by d theta, for simplification it is assumed as capital D. So capital D is termed as soil water diffusivity. So soil water diffusivity is, so if we say it is nothing but hydraulic conductivity when the gradient of suction head with respective water content is unity. So D is equal K if dou psi by dou theta is equal to 1. That means the gradient of suction head is 1. Then we can write hydraulic conductivity is equal to the soil water diffusivity. So we replace K d psi by d theta as capital D. Then the downward water flux is equal to minus of d dou theta by dou z plus k. But from the continuity equation earlier, we have derived dou theta by dou t is equal to minus dou q by dou z. So we can write, we can differentiate this. So that is equal to dou q by dou z is equal to dou by dou z of d dou theta by dou z plus k. Okay, but dou q by dou z, that is equal to minus of dou theta by dou theta. This is, we got it from the continuity equation. Okay, so then we can write, so dou theta by dou t is equal to dou by dou z of d dou theta by dou z plus k. So that is called as Richards equation. So this equation is very popular in water flow modeling in unsaturated soil. So let's see how the pressure distribution in subsurface. So in this figure, this top line, vertical axis is Z, okay, that is the depth, and then horizontal axis is the pressure. So in this figure, you see the top horizontal line that represents the ground surface, and below this line, this is all soil medium. So inside the soil medium, at certain depth, there is water table. So you know what is water table. So water table is, it is a boundary between unsaturated soil and saturated soil. So below the water table, the pressure is hydrostatic. That means pressure is linearly increasing with Z, with the flow depth. So at the water table, pressure is 0. And let us consider that is where Z is equal to 0. So from there, suppose at certain point the depth is d1, there the pressure is equal to gamma d1. Since the pressure is 0 at the water table and pressure is increasing, so pressure at point 1 is equal gamma d1, so which is positive pressure. So you see that below the water table the pressure is positive. So the pressure, I mean, because here the fluid is in the voids and the pressure of the fluid in the voids is positive. And above the water surface, above the water table, there is a small region that is called as capillary fringe. So in the capillary fringe, so what is capillary fringe? So in capillary fringe, water rises against the gravity. Okay, so here in this capillary fringe, it is also kind of saturated because of the upward flow of the water due to capillary forces. And from the water table above, we see pressure is decreasing, or otherwise we can say negative pressure is increasing. So suppose at a point 2, the pressure is equal to minus gamma d2. Okay, because we have taken z is equal to 0 at the water table, so therefore the depths above, I mean any point above this water table, the pressures are negative. Okay, so these are all you can say vacuum pressure, or we can also call it as suction pressure, because at water table there is atmospheric pressure and the pressures are less than atmospheric pressure above the water table, so we can call them as vacuum pressure. Since they are negative, they are also called as suction pressure, tension. So at point 2, pressure is equal minus gamma d2. And this figure, which is plot between psi and theta, where psi is suction pressure and theta is moisture content. So you see that the pressure is decreasing in the upward direction, and you see in the capillary range, so the pressure is high, then the pressure is decreasing. So, and we can see that there are two types of soil medium, sand and clay. So we can see that the suction pressure in clay is higher than suction pressure in sand. So suction pressure, I mean in this capillary fringe, that is nothing but capillary pressure divided by gamma. So whenever the pressure is represented in meters, because here in hydraulics, pressure is always, or most of the time, pressure is represented in terms of meters. It is not exactly pressure, it is pressure head. So pressure head is nothing but pressure per unit weight of water. So we'll do one example problem. So look at this example. Calculate the soil moisture flux Q between depths 0.8 and 1.8 meter in the soil at Deepdene. So Deepdene is a location in United Kingdom. So the data for total head at these depths are given at weekly time intervals in columns 2 and 3 of table given below. And the relation between hydraulic conductivity and soil section head is given as K is equal to 250 times minus I power minus 2.11, where is K, its unit is centimeter per day and psi unit is centimeter. So let's see this figure. So this is a figure, okay, this is a figure This is the total pressure at point 1, which is at 0.8 meter from the soil surface, below soil surface. And here the total pressure is plotted with respect to the time from April to July. Similarly, the next line or curve, which is total head at another location, which is 1.8 meter below the soil surface. See, the point 1, that is at depth of 0.8, and point 2, that is at depth of 1.8 meter. They are in one line, okay? So they are vertically in one line, but point 2 is 1 meter below the point 1. So in this table, these 4 columns are given. That is total head at H1, that is total head at point 1, which is 0.8 meter below the free surface with respective time. Similarly, the column 3, which gives total head at point 2, that is at 1.8 meter below the free surface, and with respective time. Okay, this is first week, second week, third week, like that. And suction heads are given at point 1 and point 2 with respective time. So this column number 4 is suction head at point 1, and column number 5 is suction head at point 2. So you see that since they are below the ground, the suction heads are negative, and you can see that suction head at 0.8 meter is, its absolute value is higher, but its value is less. Minus 65 is less than minus 50. So these 4 columns are given. We need to find the flow rate from point 1 to point 2 with respective time. So how can we do? First, we have to use the Darcy equation to calculate the flow rate. So to use Darcy's equation, we need to know the hydraulic conductivity and as well as gradient, hydraulic gradient. So hydraulic conductivity is given by this equation, okay, 250 minus 250 into minus I power minus 2.11. So like it in week 1, so we have got 2 suction heads at 2 locations. So we need to take average suction head, that is 57.5, that is 57.5. When we substitute that in this equation, then we'll get K value. So see here, psi average is equal to 57.5, and hydraulic conductivity K is equal to 250 minus I power minus 2.11. So therefore it comes out to be 0.0484 centimeter per day. So now K is known. Now we have to find the gradient, H1 minus H2 by Z1 minus Z2. Why we are using H1 minus H2? Because the total head at point 1 is higher than total head at point 2. So therefore we are using H1 minus H2 by Z1 minus Z2. So H1 is given as H1 is given as minus 145 and H2 is given as minus 230. So that becomes minus K, that is 0.0484 into 85. Z1 minus Z2, that is nothing but 100 centimeters. Okay. So by substituting these values, we'll get minus 0.0412 centimeter per day. So this is the flow rate. So this negative, which indicates the flow is in downward direction. So because Z, we all according to our coordinate system, Z is upward positive. So when the Q is showing negative, that means the flow rate is taking place in the downward direction. So similarly, we can do calculations for all the times, for all the times at for location 1 and 2. We can get the water flow rate from point 1 to point 2 for all the times. So they are plotted in this figure. So they are plotted first. Hydraulic conductivity is plotted, that is shown by this dotted line, and head difference is shown, that is shown by this continuous line. Then the flow rate, or we can say soil moisture flux, that is shown by this thick line. So you can see that during initial weeks, that is up to 7 weeks, the downward flow is increasing. That means this time there is a rain or snow, so therefore the downward flow is increasing. And from 7th week onwards, this is from June onwards, the downward flow is decreasing. Okay, and the K also, we can see that as the downward flow is taking place, as moisture content increases, hydraulic conductivity is increasing, and as moisture content decreases during the summer, hydraulic conductivity is decreasing. So next figure, so here, because the calculations are done for only two depths, that is at minus 0.8 meter and 1.0 meter, but this plot show for different depths such as 0.4 meter, 1 meter, 1.8 meter, etc. So you can see that in all the figures, initially the water is flowing in the downward direction. Okay, because water is flowing in the downward direction. So which is shown by this soil water head curves, and from middle of the May to July, the head is decreasing, so therefore there is no water flow or decreased water flow. And you can see that at certain locations, like here you see that head at minus 0.40, so that is less than head at minus 0.80. Okay, so these times what is happening? Water is flowing upward direction to meet the evaporation and evapotranspiration losses. So this is about unsaturated flow. Now I'm going to start infiltration. So in the previous section, mainly we have discussed the basic laws governing the soil moisture flow in unsaturated medium. So now we'll be applying those laws to find out the infiltration. So infiltration is very important because in hydrological cycle, when there is a rainfall, so part of it goes above the soil surface, that is called as runoff, and part of it seeps into the ground. Okay, so that is called as infiltration. So infiltration is nothing but water penetrating from ground into soil, and infiltration affected by these important factors: vegetative cover. So suppose if the land is covered with vegetation, then the infiltration will be low. Okay, and soil properties. suppose the land is different types. The soil is different types: clay, silt, and sand, etc. So infiltration through clay is less, whereas infiltration through sand is higher. Similarly, infiltration through gravel is very high. So the infiltration is affected by type of soil and hydraulic conductivity. So hydraulic conductivity is the property of the soil through which it permits the water flow through it. So if hydraulic conductivity is higher, that means it transmits more water. So another important property is antecedent soil moisture. Suppose the soil is already wet, therefore, uh, therefore, it takes less water. If our antecedent soil moisture is less, it takes more water. So therefore, more infiltration. So this is the as the infiltration taking place, how that wet front is moving downwards is shown by this figure. So as at a certain point of time, already the infiltration is in the progress, okay, and wetting zone is somewhere here. So in between, as a wetting zone is progressing, so this how the soil moisture changes with respect to depth is divided into four parts. Top part, that is called as saturation zone. So in saturation zone, all the voids are filled with water. That means it is completely saturated. So you know the porosity. Porosity is the volume of void. If you take a representative soil volume, so within that volume of voids divided by the total volume, it gives the porosity. So if the all pores are filled with water, then it is saturation zone. Because in this zone, it is subjected to, as the water is going down, this area which is subjected to more time. So therefore, all the voids are filled here. So this is called as saturation zone. So down the saturation zone, the water content or moisture content here is less than saturated moisture content. So therefore, this zone is called as a transmission zone. Here still all voids are not filled. Okay, with the time they will fill, but as of now, only part of the voids are filled with water. But here, the water content is more than the field capacity. So, so what is field capacity? Field capacity is that the soil which holds water against the gravity. Okay, suppose if we pour water in a soil sample, initially it was the water is draining out from the soil sample. After some time, there is no more drainage. Although there is a gravitational forces are there is no more drainage. Okay, so for that state, the water content is called as field capacity. So in the transmission zone, the water content is more than field capacity. And we can see how we can identify this saturation zone, transmission zone, and wetting zone. So you can see that in the transmission zone, for certain depth, water content is constant. Okay, and that is less than saturation water content and more than field capacity. So that is called as transmission zone. But near the ground surface, for a small depth, soil is completely saturated. So that is saturation zone. In between transmission zone and saturation zone, the zone is called as transition zone. And see the wetting front, it is moving downwards. Okay, so this zone is called as wetting zone. So in wetting zone, the gradient of this water content is very steep. Okay, so the gradient of water content between the surrounding soil and the soil within the wetting zone is very steep. Okay, so this is called as a wetting zone. So in the wetting zone, the soil moisture content is less than the field capacity. So these are important definitions. As the water sinking into the soil, so the rate at which the water enters the soil at the surface is called as infiltration rate. Infiltration rate is represented by units in inch per hour or centimeter per hour. There is a cumulative infiltration, capital, it is represented by capital F. So cumulative infiltration is, it is the accumulated depth of water during the infiltration in a given time period. So the cumulative infiltration, this is nothing but integration of infiltration rate in a given time duration. So capital F is equal integration 0 to t f tau d tau. And here you can see that this red line which shows the infiltration rate. So infiltration rate is the rate at which water enters the soil surface. So the infiltration rate decreases exponentially with the time, because initially the soil is very hungry, so it takes a lot of water, but as the voids are being filled out, it takes less and less water. So therefore the rate at which the water is seeping into the ground at the ground surface decreases exponentially with the time. And whereas this cumulative infiltration is, we are integrating the as the water quantity sinking into the soil with the time period. So therefore the cumulative infiltration increasing exponentially with the time, and we can see that after certain time the cumulative infiltration is almost constant, and similarly the infiltration rate is also constant. Okay, so these are called as FC, and this is called as this is small fc, this is called as, this is represented by capital FC. So you see here another two important terms, infiltration capacity. So infiltration capacity is the maximum rate of infiltration which is permitted by the soil. Okay, so infiltration capacity is when suppose the soil is completely dry and water is poured on that one. So at that time it immediately takes lot of water. So that is called as infiltration capacity. It is a maximum rate of infiltration. And rainfall intensity. So rainfall intensity is so amount of rainfall occurred per unit time, or we can also call it as rate of rainfall. This is represented by centimeter per hour or inch per hour or inch per day, centimeter per day, etc. So the relation between I and F are given here. So suppose the rainfall intensity is more than Fp, that is the maximum rate of infiltration, then the rate of infiltration is equal to Fp. Suppose if the intensity of the rainfall is less than the maximum rate of infiltration of that soil, then actual infiltration F is equal to I. Students, so it's already 1 p.m. So I'll stop it here, and rest of the lecture I will continue it on Monday from 11 to 12. So I'm stopping here, and you have to take exam from 2 to 3. Okay, so everything is set in Moodle, so you can take the exam between 2 and 3, or because the timings set between 1:30 and 3:30, so any time between that you can take the exam. So all the best. So if you have any doubts, please let me know for today's lecture.